Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 1991 Honda Civic sedan. Up front is a 1.5 liter inline 4 and down below is a 4-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this here Honda Civic for a couple of reasons. Mainly the fact that this is the sedan. I've driven the hatch, I've driven the SI, and now I'm driving the sedan, so I get to sort of complete that circle that is the 4th generation Honda Civic. But before we get on to anything else, I have a website, zackprato.com, where you can buy stickers like this retro sticker pack or big friggin' bottle sticker, both with free shipping. You can also submit your own vehicles to be reviewed by me through a quick and easy submission form, and you can read my behind the scenes blog to see what I'm filming before it comes out on the channel. But let's get back to that 1.5 liter D15 under the hood. Well, it makes about 92 horsepower, which isn't anything crazy. However, it's not what the Honda Civic was going for. It's not what the Honda Civic has ever gone for, besides the SI and Type R. They used D-Series for a long time, and honestly, I like them. All right, 92 horsepower. All right, like I said, paired to it, 4-speed automatic transmission. It's shifting well and still operating here, not only over 30 years later, but also with 252,000 miles. That surely is impressive. Last but not least, of course, the Honda Civic is front-wheel drive. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have some very simple gauges. On the left is the tachometer. In the center, I get coolant temperature and fuel. And on the right is the speedometer. Of course, marking 55 miles an hour because this was still the era where a lot of car manufacturers did that. I have a whole mini documentary series about that if you'd like more info. Around the gauge cluster, I do have a hazard switch, rear defrost, and part of my cruise controls, as well as my gauge dimmer switch. On the steering wheel, I do have cruise control, which was a very nice option for 1991. And then off to the left, I have a climate control vent and a little slider to control that climate control vent, and that's pretty much it. Moving onto the door, I do have my window switches that are actually on the door itself. I love this because it gives your left knee so much room. For someone that has big knees and big thighs, knee room isn't always guaranteed, especially on a smaller economy car like this, especially an older, smaller economy car like this. So I actually have plenty of room. I can tap dance if I really want to, which is just fantastic. And I'm really happy with the amount of space here in the 91 Civic. Then moving into the center, I have 2 more climate control vents, as well as a digital clock. And I have my climate controls. Very, very basic. However, I did get AC back in 1991. Love that. And of course, it being a 90s vehicle, the radio has since been changed out for a more modern unit. However, not that modern, let's be honest. Down below that, I get my cigarette lighter / 12-volt outlet and my ashtray. And then I get the center console in the center with, of course, the shifter. The shifter, very, very basic. Honda ended up using this style shifter for years and years and years and years and years. So it feels pretty at home to be driving one with that. Then I do get, of course, the handbrake and no cup holders, meaning the 1991 Honda Civic fails the big friggin' bottle test. Now we gotta talk about the seats. Something interesting about the seats is that the 91 Civic does have power seat belts. And of course, I do have a mini documentary about those as well, if you'd like to learn more information on why we had automatic seat belts here in the United States for a short period of time. The seats themselves are nice and comfortable. They are still plush and cushiony, even though this was an economy car. They still gave you a little bit of that comfort, which is nice to see. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 1991 Honda Civic, and a couple of things to note. First of all, tons of knee room, tons of headroom, big perk of the sedan, also the big 4 doors. I know it's not big per se, but the other EFs I've driven have been hatchbacks, which have been 2 doors, and getting in the back is just, it's a death sentence. So actually getting back here, I fit great. This is my driving position, which is actually even further back than Miles's driving position. And so I still have plenty of space. That's what I miss about this era of vehicle, is that they still gave you tons of space, even though this was the entry-level vehicle for Honda in the 1990s. So this was the basic stuff, and yet I still get tons of space. The back seat cushions feel great. Again, 90s cars really know how to do plush, cushy back seats. And again, seeing that in a Honda Civic, this wasn't anything special. It wasn't flashy. This wasn't the upgrade. It's nice to see that much room. Let's take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, so we're on the back of the 91 Honda Civic. We do have a little keyhole here, which I do want to point out, this car only has one key for the doors and the trunk. That was not standard here in America in 1991. The 91 Oldsmobile still had 2 keys. So very cool to see. Obviously the back is full of stuff. However, plenty of space in the Civic. Like I said with the back seats, I'm very happy, pleased, and impressed with the amount of space that they gave you in the 91 Civic. You have to remember, this was a entry-level car. This was the bottom of the barrel, and yet you still get so much extra space. I really, really love it. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I really, really like the proportions of the sedan. I just think it looks square body-ish, but also a little bit more modern than square body. I just love the overall look of it. I think it's really special. And just, I don't know, when you look at it, you know it's a Civic. It has that signature style to it, which is really, really fun. But now let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the 91 Civic sedan? Well, it drives like all the other Civics I've driven from this era. There's nothing really new to write or talk about in terms of driving feel and things like that. How does it drive? It has nice, light, and nimble steering, almost too light of steering. The power steering is working overtime here when it really doesn't need to. Visibility is fantastic. Now that does mean that the crash safety of one of these isn't the best in the world, but hey, that's okay. I can see everything, and hopefully that'll make me a little bit safer as well. Honestly, in terms of sedan versus hatch, I could really go either way. I don't really have my heart set on either one. I think I like the sedan a little bit better just because I feel like I see less of them. There's so many EF hatches in this world that actually driving a sedan is almost a treat. Strictly for this video, you know what? I would take the sedan just to be a little bit different. But either hatch or sedan, the same thing reigns true. A Honda Civic is going to be a reliable little titan for years and years to come. Like I said, this car is 31 years old, 252,000 miles, and yet it's still trucking along. It's not flashy, it's not glamorous, it's not going to win you any awards per se. However, it does its job, and it does its job incredibly, incredibly well over many, many years. Huge thank you to Miles for letting me take out his 1991 Honda Civic sedan. I'm always happy to drive more body styles of the Civic, and that is all thank you to him. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.